Welcome to this case study from the Case Study Series in Human Resource Management by Skilled MBA. We explore the evolving internal communication challenges at Wombat, an edtech company founded in 2009 to revolutionize communication in higher education. Initially, employees were inspired by CEO Dan Wallace's vision, but by 2022, that commitment had faded. Anonymous feedback revealed significant discontent following post-COVID organizational changes. Now, Dan stands at a crossroads, unsure how to interpret the feedback or rebuild trust across the organization. Wombat is an educational technology firm launched in 2009 with a mission to transform college communications. Led by visionary founder Dan Wallace, the company initially saw high employee commitment. However, over time, and especially in the post-COVID period, employee sentiment has shifted. Changes in structure and culture have created a growing disconnect between leadership and staff. This case aims to help learners analyze communication challenges in organizations facing internal dissent, understand the complexities of employee engagement during periods of change, apply communication theory to real-life leadership crises, develop strategic plans to rebuild morale and commitment, integrate data from both interviews and secondary sources for better decision-making. Wombat's timeline tells a clear story. 2009. Founding enthusiasm, high employee morale, and belief in the mission. 2020. COVID disruption leads to remote work and major structural adjustments. 2022. Anonymous feedback reveals declining morale and growing dissatisfaction. Present. CEO Dan Wallace must decide how to interpret feedback and what actions to take. Anonymous feedback revealed vital insights, benefits, encourages honesty without fear of retribution, highlights cultural and communication breakdowns, exposes hidden problems, and serves as an early warning system. Challenges: difficult to contextualize without follow-up, may overrepresent negative voices, can foster a culture of indirect communication, makes it harder to craft targeted responses. Leaders at Wombat face several hurdles. Listening: how to receive anonymous criticism without defensiveness. Messaging: crafting clear, empathetic communication that acknowledges real concerns. Engaging: fostering real dialogue despite communication barriers. Adapting: adjusting leadership style to meet evolving employee expectations. Key organizational shifts post-COVID, COVID disruption, required rapid business adaptation and new work models. Operational shifts, new processes and structures introduced quickly. Employee adjustment, staff faced difficulties adapting to new expectations. Trust erosion, perceived unilateral decisions damaged employee confidence and morale. Effective internal communication must be built on transparency, clearly sharing decisions while respecting confidentiality. Consistency, ensuring alignment across all leadership levels and communication channels. Two-way dialogue, creating regular opportunities for staff to give feedback directly. Purpose reinforcement, reconnecting staff with Wombat's core mission to restore motivation. To assess and improve communication, Wombat can use stakeholder analysis, identify key internal voices and their influence. SWOT analysis, explore strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Crisis communication framework, apply internal crisis response principles. Interpretive communication theory, analyze how narratives shape perception. Feedback loop analysis, evaluate the role and limits of anonymous feedback. This case raises essential questions. What caused the decline in employee commitment? How should Dan Wallace rebuild trust through communication? What short and long-term strategies will re-engage staff? How can Wombat balance transparency with discretion? What feedback mechanisms should be introduced? What broader lessons about internal communication can be drawn? The feedback points to several root issues: mission drift. Employees may feel disconnected from Wombat's founding purpose. Communication gaps. Organizational changes lacked clear explanation or staff input. Trust erosion. Feedback suggests staff no longer feel safe raising concerns directly. Value misalignment. Perception that business decisions outweigh employee well-being. Option pros cons. Enhanced transparency and open forums builds trust and encourages direct dialogue. Hard to manage grievances in large settings. Targeted communication campaign addresses specific concerns with clarity, risk of appearing insincere if not handled well. Structured feedback with follow-up shows. Leadership's commitment to change. May face resistance and require process overhaul. Leadership communication training improves manager ability to lead through crisis. Time-intensive and may delay visible changes. To move forward, Dan Wallace should acknowledge the situation, address feedback openly and sincerely, create structured dialogue, host town halls and department check-ins with clear communication channels, demonstrate accountability, share a clear action plan with timelines and responsibilities, then follow through. This builds credibility through action. To track progress, Wombat should monitor employee trust score, communication satisfaction, engagement index. Using tools like pulse surveys, focus groups, and regular assessments will help evaluate if morale and trust are being rebuilt through communication efforts. Internal communication is critical, especially during change. How leadership communicates determines organizational cohesion. Feedback drives improvement. Even difficult feedback, when handled well, can become a powerful force for positive change. Leadership defines culture. A leader's response to crisis will shape long-term trust, commitment, and culture. This case is a real-world lesson in navigating internal complexity with clarity and empathy. Thank you for engaging with Wombat's internal communication crisis, presented as part of the case study series in Human Resource Management by Skilled MBA. This case reminds us that in moments of internal uncertainty, communication becomes leadership's most strategic tool. Transparency, empathy, and accountability are not just best practices, they are foundational to building a resilient organizational culture. We hope this discussion helps you lead with confidence and integrity in your own journey.